for younger kids, I wrote about this recently. There's these type of toys. They're called AI stuffies, and essentially they're stuffed animals or stuffed whatever that have a speaker in them, and they're connected up to ChatGPT. And so they've given some instructions like, talk like you're talking to a kid and don't say some things about X, Y, and Z. They sort of follow them. So right off the bat, you have some issues where you can get a chatbot stuffy to a 5-year-old, and with enough prodding, it will begin talking about sexual things, right? So right there, that's a risk. I feel like that'll be solved. What I think is a bigger risk is that you have a child that they can become very emotionally connected to these stuffies. I mean, kids will talk with a lamppost, right? Like they'll make an imaginary friend out of everything. And here, instead of an imaginary friend, they're playing with a chatbot that is endlessly affirmative, that's never going to pose friction, right? How much of forming relationships is actually about, even when you're very young, negotiating what to share, what game to play, having differing needs and dealing with those. And so I think the risk potentially, and this goes not just at that, you can see it at that early age, but I think this is for really all ages, but especially developing minds, is that you can get an unrealistic expectation of uh, uh, what kind of friction is going to happen between two humans. And is that going to reduce people's need for actual human or desire for actual human connection? Is it going to have them retreat more into isolation? Is it going to not equip them to handle social situations as adeptly? That's a concern. That's like one concern that I have. I can go on, but I think that's a big one.
Yeah, no, for me that's core. I mean, social media is sort of, reward driven and external validation driven and almost in that slot machine like reinforcement of the likes and the way you interact with it. But AI really it's that relief of the sort of cognitive and emotional burden that if you are relieved of that so consistently, then I'm glad I got this in my 40s because I worry like you worry that then you're not going to be doing the hard work that's required to learn to have relationships to just sort of understand yourself as a person in the world, and that's scary.
It is scary, and it may only affect a subset of people, right?
Right.
So I don't want to, overclaim that the society is going to fall apart. But if that's 2%, 3%, 5% of the population that these generate or exacerbate social issues in, that's a big deal.
hmm And then if we're looking under the hood in terms of its impact on the brain, given some of the way it operates, what would you say there is going on?
Yeah, so I think from a neuroscience standpoint, there's a few things. I mean, you may have seen this study that went viral over the summer where people who used ChatGPT to write essays later had less neural connectivity in brain areas compared to people that did not use ChatGPT to write essays. And so it generated a lot of sensational headlines, but like it pointed at a real thing, which is use it or lose it, right?
Really?
That is true. So if you rely on ChatGPT for tasks that you used to do yourself, you will lose the ability to do those tasks as well, or maybe at all. I think we can all intuitively understand this also with GPS, right? Like when I moved to New York, I didn't have an iPhone and I kind of found my way around, but I very quickly after got an iPhone. And at this point, I rarely, unless I'm in my own neighborhood, I rarely navigate the city without my iPhone. I don't really, the stakes don't feel that high to me for that, right? I'm in a city. I will always have a phone with me. I can ask directions. It's not like I'm in the mountains and orienting myself. Finding my way around is not core to my identity. But when we're talking about something you can offload judgment to, decision making, memory, emotional connection, right? The magnitude of concern is like a step change. And so
Right.
when you start to offload those things and start to lose the ability to do those things, what's left?